Hey everyone, Jessica here with another layout for the Not Just for Boys Kit Club. Today I'm using the Powerhouse Limitless kit, which you can get from the shop. And I am starting off with this pattern paper and a piece of craft cardstock. The pattern paper, I'm just folding it on the diagonal and then just cutting it across with my scissors because it's too big for my cutting tool beside me here. So then I'm just going to distress the edges. And I'm going to put this across my page so that I have a strip of pattern paper and then one of the craft cardstock on the bottom portion. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick that down. That's where I want it to go. I've got two photos here today that I'm using of my two boys helping my husband with some garage tours here and working on, I think they were putting a tube in that tire or something. I don't know. I feel like my husband's always putting tubes in tires for tractors and whatnot because he always has flats, and like our hay wagons and things always seem to have flat tires no matter what, and how much he replaces them and puts new ones on them. They always end up going flat and running over something, of course. It's funny, the one time one of our tractors got a flat, and it was a fairly decent tire to begin with. It was a pretty new one, and it ended up going flat, and it was because of a deer antler. He ran over a deer antler that he didn't see when he was baling hay and got a flat tire, and the antler got stuck in the tire. Like, what? Seriously, what are the chances of that? But I feel like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to my husband. So I've pulled out the stencil as you saw from the kit, and I did some light stenciling there with some Distress Oxide in weathered wood. And then I cut a couple little border scallop edges to place underneath that pattern paper from my Spellbinders little dies that I have that are border strips in my Big Shot machine. And then I just place them in there. And then I've matted my photos here with some smooth white cardstock. And I'm going to use this Minte paper pad. This is a smaller paper pad that comes in the Essentials kit. And I'm using that to back my photo with some additional layers. So I'm just choosing a few of the pattern papers from there. I'm just trimming them down with my scissors real quick and just kind of staggering them behind my photos. I had this little piece that was from a Pocket Life kit from Hip Kit, and I ended up not using those little stars. I kept it on there for a while, but you know, I left this layout for a few days and came back to it, and I tore it apart, and I just thought I think it was the stars that were kind of throwing me off because this was such a grungy layout, and that white with the stars just really wasn't vibing. I thought it would work because of the yellow on the tire, but I ended up not liking it. So I come in here with some white Shimmers paint for some splatters, and this is like I like to use this, it's a little bit more of a mild paint. It's not super white because of the shimmer in it, so it dries really pretty, but it's not as white as my white acrylic paint or anything else that I have here that I normally use. So here's where I came back to it. I ripped off the star print sheet, added some gears and tags, and I really like how this is looking now. So I'm just going to build this layout up similar to my other layout this month, where I used a lot of gears to really enhance the layout and embellish. So that's what I'm doing here. I cut a whole bunch of those gears again from my Paper Rose Studios gear dies. I think they're actually called Cogs. But I cut a whole bunch of those again to use on this layout. Then I'm just going to build this layout up using my Nuvo glue to place them down to my layout. And I'm just staggering them all around my photo and kind of around that diagonal is what I was going to say. Diagonal design. And I'm just going to tuck a couple up here at the top of my photos. And I'm actually going to end up grabbing, I have my Cocoa Vanilla Studio, I think it's the Legendary kit laying here beside me. I'm actually going to grab a sticker sheet from that as well and add a couple things at the very end because I couldn't figure out what else to add to it at the end. And I thought it just needed a little pop of color, so I added a couple things from there at the very end. But I'm going to pull out a couple of these little wooden cogs that come in this kit, which I absolutely love. But I want to do my favorite technique on wood embellishments, which is to use my Versamark ink and do some heat embossing on it. So I've used my Versamark ink. I'm just getting that all squished on there and then applying my embossing powder to the top. And then I'm going to pick them up with my tweezers, just being careful not to smudge any of that product. And I'm going in from the bottom side so that I don't blow off any of that embossing powder. So whenever I go in from the bottom, it allows it to heat it up enough that it kind of makes it stick and sets it a little bit so that it doesn't all fly off immediately whenever I go to the top. So there, I've got them all heated up, and it creates a really nice kind of metal looking design, and I just love the way that it looks on these wood pieces. So I have all those done. I'm going to go ahead and just use my Nuvo glue again, which you can grab from the shop as well. It's my favorite adhesive. It dries clear. I just absolutely love it. So I'm going to stick these down, and then I'm going to grab the sequins that coordinate with this kit. I'm going to add a bunch of those using my sequin tool. I will link the tool that I use below. I know I get a lot of questions on it, so I just link it below in the description in case you want to grab it too. But it has like a wax tip on it, so the sequins stick really nicely to it, and they stick to your glue whenever you put them down on your page, so it makes it really easy and quick. I've grabbed some letters from a past kit that I'm going to put my title on. I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch me place down each and every letter. But there is my title. It just says Helping Hands, which is always something that my husband always has. He always has those little helping hands whenever he's trying to do stuff in the garage, because my boys just love their garage time with Daddy. And here I'm just sticking down those sequins real quick. But it just makes really quick work of it with that little sequin tool. So I'm just going to speed this up again, and I'm going to grab that little sticker pack from Cocoa Vanilla here beside me so I can add a couple things from that. I'm going to add this twine to the top of my tags, and I made them really long. I was planning on like looping them down around, but then they weren't quite long enough for what I had in mind, so then I just ended up snipping them off. So I wasted a little bit, but I kept it just in case I can use it for something else later. So here's that Cocoa Vanilla thing that I grabbed. I'm just adding a couple of stickers from that. I really liked that little pop of orange there. It's just totally random, but I thought it went nice with the sequins and the kind of goldish color in there. And then here's the finished layout. So I'll link the kit below, and if you want to grab it from the shop, go ahead and feel free to do so. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope I've inspired you to create something today. So thank you so much, and have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.